All right, there we go. So I got the two indicators necessary here. We're looking at, so the white line is the linear regression line, and then we have just the RSI. All right, so we don't get confused. All right, so basically I named this logic template, basically what this simple signal is all about. So the bar needs to be above the linear regression, and the RSI needs to be greater than 67 to generate a buy signal. Right, pretty straightforward there. So let's do the RSI first. All right, so we're gonna grab a threshold solver. All right, so typically when you're working with oscillators like the RSI or the MACD or the stochastics, right, CCI, right, all those different oscillators, that run in its own subpanel, the majority of the time you want to use the threshold solver, right, because we're looking for a threshold level. We want the RSI to be above 67 or let's say below 30, right? So let's connect that in. So, all right, so we're looking for the RSI to be greater than 67 or less than 30. So I'm just going to fudge on the short signals here. All right, so let's change the indicator over to the RSI. So let's open up the indicator selection, and we can just type in RSI and find it real quick. There we go. All right, so again, I'm just using the default 14 period there. And let's see, yeah, Randy didn't say he wants to use the average, so we'll just use the standard RSI. There we go, so that's already selected for us. Click OK. Now we need to put in those threshold levels, right? The 67 and the 30 threshold levels there. So we're going to open up the threshold settings window here. So, all right, so here we have the rules window. So we want the RSI greater than 67 or less than 30 for a short. Right? So remember to kind of read the written sentence up here. So it says if RSI is greater than, right? So long output if the RSI is greater than 67, right? Or short if the RSI is less than 30. So click OK, and let's take a look. There we go, right? There you go. RSI is below 30. And a couple of times we had the RSI pop up above 67. So now we need to find those bars that are above the RSI. So we're going to use a comparison solver so we can compare the bar prices to the linear regression. Right? So let's see. So for a long, right, we want the bar above the linear regression. So that means if the low price is above, then we know the bar is above the linear regression. And if it's a short signal or a short condition there, then the high of the bar needs to be below the linear regression. So there, and we're comparing that to the linear regression. All right, let's connect that in. There we go. So input A is going to be the bar prices. Let's switch over to price. And for a long, we need the low to be above, and for a short, the high to be below. So input B is going to be the linear regression indicator. All right, let's just type in LIN for short. There we go. Linear regression. Again, just using the default 14 period. And there's only one plot here, so just click OK. And there we have it. So we actually don't have to change anything in the comparison settings here, because by default you're typically looking for input A to be above or below input B, right? So in this case, the low needs to be greater than or above the linear regression. So, right, so we didn't actually have to make any adjustments, and there we go. So here we can see on the chart, right? So all the green racing stripes are showing the bars above the linear regression. And of course, the short output here, right, the red racing stripes, the bars are below the linear regression. Now, last step, just combine those two together with an AND node. And we're done. There we have it. There we go. There's a couple of signals right there.